Hi, everyone. I've had this question a lot, and that's how can I make sure that my kids aren't using my classroom's Google Meet without me being there? How do I make sure that my kids are safe and supervised when they're using my digital space? Meet does provide a very powerful way of doing this. In fact, two powerful ways. And I'm going to go through both of those. And I'm also going to show how to set up a Meet that kids can join without you if you want to set that up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually go into Google Classroom. Now, Google Classroom has this feature built into it. And so what I'm going to do to set this up is I'm going to go into my classroom and I'm going to click this little gear menu. You'll see that I get a number of options here. I've got my class code that appears right here as well. But if I go to scroll down just a little bit further, you'll see that there's an option for Meet. And if I create or click this Generate Meet link, in a moment it will actually give me a code or an actual secret link. And in fact, if I now hit save and go back to my main page, you'll see that that link is right here. This link will not allow a student to join your conversation without you being there. Let's take a look at how this works. So if I go into this classroom, which is just set up and ready to run, if I click on this Google Meet, it'll take me into Google Meet as per usual. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start by looking at this through a student view. The top one here is my personal Google Classroom account. This is a teacher account, and it is the teacher for this classroom. Whereas this one down here is a student. So let's start by looking at what the student sees when I'm not online. And so I'm just going to go ahead as the student and click this link. And what comes up is it says, sorry, we encountered a problem joining this video call. You can't create a meeting yourself. If you're joining a meeting though, wait for your teacher to join and then refresh this page. So as you can see, the student can't join into this. Now let's go into the teacher now and let's start that meeting. So I'll click the same link as a teacher. And it gives me the typical startup screen, and I'll just go ahead and click join now. Camera's not working because I'm using it to create this screencast. But now that I'm online, let's go back to my student account and let's just refresh the page or even just push the reload button here. And there you go. Immediately the student account now works. And if I click join now, I'm now in that meeting. So what's really great about these is this link is now a permanent link in your classroom. You can see that this link will always show up here. So you can tell your kids, this is your link. You can say, let's meet at 1 on Friday. If they click that link before 1 on Friday, it will come up in, with that error message that we had. If they click after you've left the meeting, it will also come up with that error message. And that makes it really easy to run this as a teacher. Now, let's say, for example, you're not using Google Classroom. Now, if you're not using Google Classroom, you can still do this trick. And the way it works is if I go to my main Meet page, so I'm going to create a Google Meet just as per normal. I'm going to click join or start a meeting, and you may have noticed this box pop up. Now here's the trick. If this box is given a nickname, and it can be anything you want, you can just give it random characters. You can see that's what Google Classroom did. If you give this meeting a nickname at all, then it will work exactly the same way that Google Classroom did and not allow students in. If, however, I leave that nickname blank, that will create a permanent link which kids can join with or without a teacher anytime they want. So let's take a look at how that works. So you can see I've got a nickname in here. So I'm going to hit continue, and this is going to create my, my meeting. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that Meet code, just like I normally do, and I'm going to copy that. And then I'm actually going to leave this meeting. Okay, so I'm no longer in this meeting. Now I'm going to do what we did before, and I'm going to visit my my student view. And just like that, I'm going to take my link and I'm going to paste that in there. And when I do, I'll press enter, and it says can't join that video call, and that's because the teacher's not there. If, however, I go back here and click that or paste that same link into my teacher account and click join, and now go into my student account and just refresh my screen, now it lets me in. All right, so that's how you do that when you don't want students to join without you. But what in the case where you might actually want them to be able to use this as a collaborative space with each other? Now, just a word of warning that if you're going to use this approach, you'll definitely want to be communicating with parents and maybe encouraging them to be part of the room, because really what you're doing is letting students into your space unsupervised. And so be very thoughtful about that. But to do that, it's exactly the same process. I would click join or start a meeting. I would leave this blank, and I just go ahead and press continue. Just like before, I'm going to copy that link, and I'm going to leave the meeting. Now, as the student, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste that same link, and sure enough, it lets me in. I hope that helps to clarify how that's done. Definitely my number one recommended method of doing this is through Google Classroom, but there's some other ways as well. As always, let me know if you have any questions.